What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about what Einstein calls the eighth wonder of the world, and that's compound interest. So he says, as we can see here, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. And another famed investor, many of you probably know Warren Buffett, has stated that his wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and most importantly, compound interest. So first, let's get into the definition and formula for compound interest. And here, the key takeaways are that compound interest is basically interest on the principal and then interest on that interest that you get from the principal. So it's calculated on the initial principal, which also includes all the accumulated interest from the previous periods on a deposit that you make when you buy a stock, for example. So the formula I have right here is A is equal to P, in brackets 1 plus R over N to the exponent NT. A is the final amount. P is the initial principal balance. R is the interest rate. N is the number of times that interest is applied per time period. So that's a compounding effect. And T is the number of time periods. So for T, we're just going to assume that that's in years, and that we're just going to compound annually. So we reinvest that interest annually. So I just made some marks here. Let me just go through that. So first, again here, if you want $1 million as your final amount, and let's say you start with $50,000, and again, maybe you're going to say, okay, I don't have $50,000 to invest, but we're going to look at that a little bit down the line with Microsoft Excel. But anyways, first, if you start with, you just have $50,000 lying around, that's your principal amount, and then just follow the rest of the formula. And first thing you do is you divide by your principal amount, 50,000, both sides, and this takes care of, so we cross out the zeros, and then we get 100 divided by 5, and that's 20. And so 20 is equal to 1 plus, and let's say I put interest rate at 8% because that's how much the stock market makes annually on average. If you look at the historical data, again, you may be able to invest, or if you pick the right stocks, you might be able to get more than 8%, but for simplicity's sake, I just chose 8%. And the way that you take down the exponent, and this is just 1t, is you slap a log in front of it. Sorry, excuse for the messy writing, but it's chicken scratch, I know. So anyways, you put a log in front of it, and now this t comes down in front. And now if you just divide by log 1.08, log 1.08 on both sides, as you can see I've done here, and then you divide these two, therefore solving for time, you get 38 years or close to 39 years when you'll become a millionaire. And that's if you don't put in anything after each year. So again, many of you don't have $50,000 lying around. So let's see what happens when we have 10,000 as a starting balance. Don't worry about this side here. We're just going to worry about here. So first, your initial principal, if that's $10,000, let me switch this to 8% at the start. And so here, this formula is very simple. So first, your principal is 10,000. You have 800 of interest based on 8% interest rate. And the end of your principal is just going to be the principal plus interest. And therefore, you get 10,800. And here, let's see what happens when you, let's say, just invest $1,200 every year. And this $1,200 I just get is if you save $100 monthly and then you invest as a lump sum at the end of the year into your bank account. So your initial deposit changes by, or your principal value changes by $1,200 on top of that interest. So here you can see we end at $10,800 based off the principal plus interest of the first year, but then we additionally add $1,200 to make that principal amount $12,000 coming into year two. And so yeah, and interest again is just this cell, 12,000 times 8%. And of course, that's going to be $960. And then you add these two cells and we get close to 13,000. So let me just do that all the way until 50 years. And that just changes. So now this cell, again, you add in your 8th year, you add the principal from your 7th year plus $1,200. And now it's good to note that like you can't take any of this money out because then that loses principal and then you won't get as much interest. But basically, if you start with $10,000, you add $100 each month and you invest it at the end of the year. So you invest $1,200, you'll become a millionaire when you're 50 years old. So, or well, I mean, sorry, that's assuming you're 20 years old right now, you invest 10,000 right now and $1,200 each year, you'll become a millionaire 50 years later, so when you're 70 years old. So again, no one wants to be a millionaire and enjoy that money when they're 70. Let's see if, when we're 60, how long this will win 40 years when we can become a millionaire. So let's say we invest $500 a month. That will give us $6,000 per year that we invest. Oh, I have to change it to this cell. So $6,000 that we invest. And let's go all the way down. Okay, and we will become a millionaire in 34 years. So if you're 20, 34 years, you'll be 54. So mid-50s, you'll become a millionaire. And that's if you invest or if you save $500 a month and you add that to the principal each year. Now, some ways to save, I mean, you might have to give up some sacrifices. You might have to give up, Starbucks coffee for Tim Hortons coffee. You might not have to spend as much on food. And I was just searching, just out of curiosity, how much an average household spends on entertainment, and that's $2,500 per year. And then maybe let's say you can cut down on food. Again, then that's your, $6,000 roughly per year. And again, you can find many, many ways to cut your expenses, going on a cheaper phone plan, etc. But anyways, back to this. So what if you save $1,000 per month now? So that becomes $1,200. My bad, I have to add that here. That becomes $12,000 per year. And say you get a nice job. And so you're able to invest more sooner, have a university education. You're able to save $1,000 per month. You'll become a millionaire 27 years later. So again, you're 20 now. By the time you're 47, you'll become a millionaire. Now, let's say if you're really raking in the cash and you invest $2,000 per month, and that'll be $24,000. I always keep adding it to the wrong cell. $24,000. And you will become a millionaire in 20 years. So by the time you're 40. Okay, so we'll stop there. Now there is something to be said about interest rate. So, let's say you studied business, you think you can predict, or you think you can have higher returns than the stock market index. And so let's say you're able to get an annualized return of, 10%. Now that changes everything, right? And if you're able to, again, save $2,000 per month, you'll be a millionaire 18 years later. So not bad. And again, some pieces of advice, for example, like Warren Buffett has had annualized returns of over, 15% since he started Berkshire Hathaway. So, it is possible to earn high rates of return like that. But again, patience is key, and just adding money whenever you can. And that will give you the joy of compound interest, and you can become a millionaire in less than 20 years, as you can see here. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you want this Excel doc so you can play around with it, let me know and I can link it to the video. Have a great day.